This is MNB-TV, sponsored by MyWebGrocer, the leading provider of digital grocery and CPG solutions. At the FMI 2012 show in Dallas, I had the opportunity to engage in a series of conversations about change, about innovation, about disruptive strategies, about digital technology, and the role of e-commerce. Over the next few weeks here on Morning Newsbeat, we're going to feature a few short video segments highlighting some of these conversations. First up, a session that I did with Tom Furphy, an e-commerce veteran and the CEO of Consumer Equity Partners. The title of our session, From Amazon to Zipcar, Innovations from the E-Revolution. It's been interesting to me, and I wrote a little bit about this on Morning Newsbeat this morning, that despite some of the presentations that we've heard over the last couple of days, in talking to a number of retailers about the whole notion of change and what e-commerce and the digital technologies allow different companies to do, that I've gotten the impression from talking to some retailers is they basically sort of take the attitude of this, which is, oh man, I really hate change. You know I have to do it, but I really sort of hate it. And if they're going to drag me kicking and screaming, and I really just don't get it, but I know I sort of got to do it. And it occurs to me when I hear people talk like that, both on the show floor and even from some stages, that I'm willing to bet real money that Jeff Bezos does not get up in the morning and say, oh man, I really hate change. I suspect Jeff Bezos gets up in the morning and says, I love change. What am I going to change today? Whose life can I disrupt today? Whose business can I disrupt today? Maybe not quite that, And I suspect that it's companies like Blockbuster or Borders or Virgin or, Best Buy, where they've been afraid of change for a long time. So you come out of that culture.
I do.
Do they worry about change at Amazon?
When I got to Amazon, and clearly Jeff has a vision to build a dominant, if not the dominant, global retailer. And when I got to Amazon, Jeff said, there's two categories that we need to own, or we need to at least do well in, if we're going to achieve what we want to achieve, and that's apparel and consumables. And he said, we've got a business model right now that doesn't really work that well for either of them. So we need to really think about new ways to deliver through our business model these big categories. And a real kind of key part of Amazon's ethos, which I would encourage kind of all of you to think about and bring back to your companies, is Amazon legitimately feels like at its core that today is day one. Every day when they come in, they feel like it's us against the world. All the possibilities are in front of us. The things we've done in the past, we can't rest on. It is all about delivering new types of value to new customers in new ways, and really rethinking, some of these, traditional business models. And if you look at the categories that Amazon has become successful in over time, every one of them they were doubted going into. And it seems like the more they're doubted, the more they dig in and say, well, you know what, we're really smart and we're going to figure this out. And you look at from books to media, movie, music, electronics. They've basically been a bit player in each of these categories and have ultimately become dominant, if not the #1 market share in these categories. And selling the categories that you all do, be it on the manufacturer side or the retailer side, yeah, Amazon's small today, and we could have a very long discussion about what it's like to work with Amazon in these categories today. But you can bet they're going to keep trying to figure it out, and ultimately will not rest until they are successful and until they do become if not the dominant player in the category.
And it seems to me that one of the things that, from knowing people at Amazon and talking to you over the years, that a fundamental difference between Amazon and a lot of other companies is that they're actually willing to kind of disrupt and undermine their own business if they see the purpose behind it. They started by doing books, And now they've created a model where if they'd be perfectly happy, maybe, if they never sold another physical copy of a book. I mean, they're okay with that. And because they're willing to just throw the whole thing out and do something completely different if they see that that's important. And I don't think there are a lot of retail companies out there today that are willing to do that. They're so built into legacy systems and the way things always have been done that they think things are core values, and in fact, they're just things with a lot of dust on them.
You know, I worked for a retailer that actually did approach it by trying to do things differently, you know, year in and year out. And I saw a lot of similarities, frankly, between culturally how Wegmans leadership goes about their food business to how Jeff goes about his e-commerce business and Amazon goes about the e-commerce business. I mean, built into, you know, the annual budgeting process and the you know, kind of annual business process is a discipline to basically present how you're going to do your business better and in different ways in the following year, and how that will translate to an economic and a financial impact within the business.
And now, a few moments with MyWebGrocer. Rich, one of the things we've heard a lot about is the notion that retailers are frankly scared of change. They'll do it, sometimes you have to drag them kicking and screaming into this new environment. How do you address that problem with retailers you talk to?
Yeah, well, you know, I would start by saying I think people are resistant to change, you know, as sort of an overview. And, you know, retailers run a very difficult, complicated, low margin business. The wrong change can be devastating to a company. All that being said, you know, this is a very new frontier, the digital frontier. So the way we address it is try and convince them to take some small steps, maybe that, you know, don't break the bank, get your feet wet, understand it, and then measure it. If you measure this and you know how effective it is, then you get the confidence to reinvest and build out your sort of digital footprint.
Next time on MNB-TV.